Hello, everybody, respected viewers. It's George from Ireland. So, welcome back to my channel once more, commenting on the Democratic convention that ended just the other day in Chicago. So, the Democrats hold this every 4 years, just about 3 months before the presidential election. So, Kamala Harris, yes, she is their presidential candidate. Tim Walz, I believe it's pronounced, is going to be her vice presidential running mate. So, in very American style, she talks a great deal about her childhood, telling very sentimental tales about, treatments from her parents and things like that. Um, and then she made various accusations against Donald Trump. Now, I hold no brief for Donald J. Trump. Anyone who's watched my channel will know I'm a day one abominator of him. He is a pathological liar. He is an absolute ogre. He's a racist. He's a race baiter. He's incited violence. He's the most despicable criminal. Well, convicted on 34 counts recently, but should have been in jail decades ago. So I detest him, which does not mean that Kamala Harris is all good. I mean, of the two, I suspect that she is the lesser of two evils, despite her violent hatred for children. But we go on. So now she claims that Donald Trump would try to save children all across the United States from being stabbed to death, from being poisoned, from being asphyxiated, from suffering vivisection. And now that's obviously a wonderful thing if he did it, but that's actually not the case, because Donald J. Trump said he would not sign a national abortion ban. Now, of course, he may well be lying. Trump will ever say whatever he thinks is electorally advantageous, a bit like Kamala Harris, because she is accusing him of saying that he would do something that he said he wouldn't do. But obviously, we can't really tell. Trump really only cares about his own aggrandizement. I don't doubt that his pro-life rhetoric is an affectation. Nevertheless, it has had some positive effects. It doesn't matter if you're the baby that got saved by him because he did it out of cynical calculation rather than some sincere actuation. Your life has still been saved. Um, but Kamala Harris, it seems to me that yes, she fervently believes in her cause. She detests children that much. She honestly believes that they're not human beings, that girls and boys in utero are not human beings, have no rights, and so on, can be killed, and this is not murder, or it's not even killing. So it says much about her illogicality, that she would believe that, her willful stupidity. Kamala Harris would obviously appoint abortionist judges to the Supreme Court who would declare open season on little children. Anyway, so 22 states, they have brought in significant protections for children who are in utero, and that has saved at least 32,000 lives. That's a wonderful thing. Obviously, I'd like to save every single life, but just because we can't save every single life doesn't mean we shouldn't save any. Anyway, so then she said that Donald Trump, that he would restrict access to birth control. Now, Trump said that he wouldn't do so actually, but there's this Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative think tank, has come up with this. Now, Trump has distanced himself from that. I don't think he actually authorized them to do that, and obviously he's not obliged to go along with what Project 2025 does. Another thing is, a lot of this is legislative and not executive, and Kamala Harris would know that even if Trump wants this, he doesn't automatically against it. If she wins, he's not going to be dictatrix, much as he might wish to be. Donald Trump, his power was restricted by the Constitution, as she would know. So Project 2025 says that they would no longer give public money to Planned Parenthood, which is obviously a good thing, as Planned Parenthood is a terrorist organization and has murdered more Americans really than anybody else. Is it hundreds of thousands of years a year, girls and boys murdered by Planned Parenthood, and taxpayers have to pay for that? Now, Planned Parenthood, it does do some good as well. That it provides contraception and things like that, or advice. So that's fine. No one would object to that. But that's like saying the Nazis in Germany, they gave free fuel to pensioners. All right, they did do a few good things, but that's not excusatory of genocide. Anyway, so we're no longer spending money on that, and plan and the Project 2025 says that it would restrict people getting certain contraceptive pills. I think some pills actually act as a very early abortion, so deadly poisons to be kept out of the hands of people or parents who want to kill their kids. Anyway, so Trump denies some of these statements, and he's got no ideas behind Project 2025. I think that bit is a lie. He says the Trump tax is gonna raise taxes on middle class families for $4,000 a year. which might be true. Also, a little slight speculation about the tariffs that would come in some trade war with China. Um, okay, so that Trump got his Republican lackeys in Congress to vote against a border deal because he felt it would reduce his chance of getting the presidency back. And now he did. That actually is true. And when the border deal was defeated, he said, "Yeah, that's due to me." Um, I'm saying that Trump threatened he would withdraw from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. That's also true. Now, Kamala Harris, a fairly effective rhetor, but she had an audience who's just laughing up at every word. Let's face it, the fact that she's a visibly ethnic minority redounds very much to her credit in the eyes of Democrats. It shouldn't redound to her discredit. No one should suffer for her ethnicity. And what else? That she's female. Okay, so things that she had nothing to do with, which are actually not achievements of hers, she's cheered to the echo for that. Obviously, it wouldn't be a bad thing if a woman was president. I mean, I wouldn't care if no man was president or prime minister of any country ever again. What I want someone with the right policies there, and I don't care what he or she has got between his or her legs. Next thing, and then Tim Walz. He went down quite well too. Plenty of celebrities endorsing them. Did Taylor Swift go in the end? There was much speculation, and she's using Beyonce's song "Freedom," one of the few things that Kamala Harris certainly doesn't want. Um, and Oprah Winfrey addressed them, saying, Oprah Winfrey saying, "Well, if you can't control this," sort of indicating her womb, then we've got no freedom left. Which obviously you can control your womb. You can choose to become pregnant or not. And women, and by the way, any women are pregnant. In case you didn't know that, I mean, obviously Democrats usually wouldn't realize that, and they say that pro-lifers know nothing about biology. I don't suppose you could be a Democrat and a pro-lifer, but I haven't never heard of one because I actually agree with the Democrats on almost every single issue, but just not this one. I say I recognize children are human beings too, and have as much right to life as anybody else. So you could choose to give birth vaginally or by cesarean section. That's controlling your fertility. What's in a pregnant woman's womb is someone else's body, is another person, is a separate individual with unique DNA who may well have a different blood group. And when there is blood as a result of abortion, the child's blood, a lot of it, you obviously can tell from the DNA that he or she is a different person from the mother. So it is a complete red herring. It is a misnomer, and that's actually not about health. In the vast majority of cases, they don't pretend that it's any risk to the mother's life, or indeed that the child is sort of terminally ill or anything like that. But surely the solution to terminal illness is not a violent death, is it? Or unless we're going to kill all terminally ill people. When you think about us, all of us are terminally ill. I remember one of these child murder organizations saying this about who was it, about what was going on in one of the states, was it Texas, saying, "Oh yes, child mortality has risen because of the abortion ban." No, it hasn't. More children have been born. I mean, unless you're saying that the cause of death is birth, therefore no one should be born, is preposterous. These children have lived slightly longer, right? What else? Yeah, Oprah Winfrey speaking. Now, ironic, she's the one who got the whole Me Too movement going several years ago, and then Bill Clinton addressed them. Now, Bill Clinton looking wan and frail. When an overweight man suddenly loses a lot of weight, it's usually a bad sign. Maybe he's got terminal cancer. Well, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, and his hands are tremble. He's so anyway, a mass murderer who's done so much to enact violence against Palestinian civilians, extremely racist towards Palestinians. And oh, he brought peace by the subjection and the oppression of Palestinians. But anyway, it's extraordinary that he should be cheered to the rafters, especially after they were addressed by Oprah Winfrey. Because remember, he was accused of about 20 women of sexual assault and even as far as rape. Now, he's not been found guilty of any of that, and he might well be as innocent as a lamb. But really, amongst the Democrats, especially of the Me Too movement, accusation equals conviction. If one woman says the man has ever done anything, the tiniest thing, said one wrong word, looked at the wrong way, that is it. He is cast into the outer darkness. No presumption of innocence, no second chances. It have a terminal effect on his career. So it's extraordinary the indulgence they'll grant to Bill Clinton. It shows the vacuity, the hypocrisy of the Democrats that they will do this. And rather their hypocrisy with regarding Donald Trump. And I know Donald Trump is vile towards women and has been found in a civil suit to have sexually abused a woman. So They're all morally bankrupt. I would vote for the Reform Party in the United States, even though they don't have a prayer of ever winning. So it is deeply dispiriting. That's one of the unsafe assumptions, very false assumptions, is that most people are morally decent or intelligent or wise, and empirically that's completely untrue. And sadly, these conformist people, or just evil people, dishonest people, they're the ones who rise to the top, and they're the ones who rule over us. And that is the sad and dispiriting truth. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my channel. And by the way, TX08, yes, you're absolutely true. It would be murder too. Okay, thank you, everyone. Goodbye.